Hello, welcome to Stanislavsky Saturday. It's another one of those. So today I want to talk about amateurism. The book The Actor's Work starts with a chapter called Amateurism. Talk about trying to get a class started with a bunch of acting students. It seemed like it was never happening because the teacher was very strict. The first day, the teacher said, we're going to perform on an actual stage with makeup and lighting, and that's going to be the first thing you guys are going to do. We're going to have an audience. It's going to be the staff of the theater. It's going to be the members of the company. Students were freaking out a little bit, like, wait, what? This is the first thing we're going to do. Can we do this in a smaller space? I said, no, that's what you're going to do. And you have the entire time that we were going to have a class to pick the play and prepare. And one of the students came late to the first rehearsal, so he didn't start the classes that day either. He said, I can't start if you guys are late because the first day of a group rehearsing together is supposed to be special, it's supposed to be good memories, so I'm not starting the class today. So again, it got postponed. The whole point was to say you have to be on time and you have to be on board. Now, we are artists and we are creative and spontaneous, and sometimes we don't really conform to rules and norms. I'm not going to say that throughout the years, and I've been an actor for some 30 years, that I've never seen actors that are a little bit sloppy in terms of being on time and being present and focused, that they don't get any opportunities because of that. No, sometimes you have great talent, you have a lot of luck, people cut you slack, and you end up doing great for yourself. But still, be your best. You want to not be noticed for anything that is negative. Be present and be really focused, because it's really irritating to a director or a casting director when they're trying to look at you to see if you are right for a part, to audition you, or when they're trying to rehearse you and direct you. If you are spaced out, you are thinking about something else, your mind is not in the right place. Sometimes the word amateurism, people associate it with lack of professional experience, but rather it is a word that denotes lack of professional manners. You may not have a whole lot of experience. You should be on time, you should be present, you should be focused. You're going to be perceived as a pro just by doing that. Once you are labeled an amateur, you don't know when that stigma is going to go away. The people that are going to actually give you feedback that's important for your career are the people that you work with. It's going to be either your acting coach, especially your casting directors. Keep that in mind. About acting classes, that's important too. I was asked the question about that. Should I be taking acting classes? Listen, take classes always. There's so many types of classes you can take. You can take classes on the go, drop in type of class. And I know so many people that do that, and everybody's doing it virtually. You should definitely take classes, and don't just take boring classes. Take something that interests you. If you're not an improv actor, for example, why not take the improv class just to give you dimension? If you are an improv actor, why not take a Shakespeare class or Stanislavsky? Just, broaden your horizon. What type of other class you can do? Train your accent, learn a new accent, singing, even dancing, all of those things you can do online. Everybody's offering their classes online. I want to tell a personal story that happened to me at the theater, and that was about 15 years ago. I was cast to play a girl that came from a poor town with a dream and ended up on the streets, addicted to drugs and being abused. I had to have a lot of love for what I was doing, a lot of commitment, and I had to be able to let myself be vulnerable and feel that pain. Most actors that worked with me, they had a lot of respect for the fact that my role was so hard to play. But one of them, and funny enough, the one actor that used to claim the method, they used to say I'm a method actor. That one was the most unethical actor I worked with, and it was painful to work around him. And everybody knew that. A year later, when we came back with the same play, he was replaced. His performance wasn't bad, but he used to hurt me on stage. That's not method acting, when you have to actually hurt the actor that you are pretending to abuse. There was a scene, we have a fight, and he's supposed to hurt me. So he would actually hurt me, physically hurt me. Not during rehearsal. During rehearsal, he knew we did a choreography. It worked beautifully. But when we were performing live, he would hurt me. And I told him, I said, you actually hurt me, because I thought it was an accident the first time. And his excuse was, oh, I was into characters so much. So I told him, so please be aware. Be aware. Let's do it the way we rehearsed, because we're both in character. But I'm the one who's getting physically hit. So you have to have that awareness. This is just being professional. And he would say, yeah, sure. And he would just do it the same way, performance after performance. So I went on to, I told other actors that was so uncomfortable and I didn't know what to do. They said, why don't you talk to the director? I talked to the director talked to him. Many times I saw the director frustrated at him and telling me, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do with him. I don't know what to do with him. I told him already not to do this. This is unprofessional. This is not how method acting works. If you're supposed to hurt the other actor, you don't know the method at all. So I remember the final performance, and I had these 9-inch heels, and one of my friends from the play, he would say, why don't you just stab him with your heels? And I was like, no, I can't do that. That's wrong. And he kept saying, you had to stab him. I would totally stab him with the heel if he would hurt me. So he gathered other actors, and they kind of convinced me. They would all agree, yeah, I think he had a good idea. You should just stab him with that heel if he hurts you. I said, okay, I'll do that, but I'll warn him. So I did that. Because I knew he wasn't in character. He was doing it just to, to show off and to brag later. Oh my God, I was in character. She's all bruised. And I remember I told him, I said, tonight, you're not going to hurt me. We're going to do this the way we do in rehearsal. If you hurt me, I'm going to stab you with my heel. I was shaking when I said it because I didn't mean it. I didn't want to do it. But I saw in his eye that he felt like it was a dare. So I got myself in trouble and I got ready to stab him if I had to. I really was out of options. It had been 3 or 4 months with that, and I was hurt and I was tired of that. I was especially tired of him telling people that he was a method actor. No. We go on stage, we have our scene, we start to have our argument, and he's very confident, full of himself, and he really hurts me. When he's supposed to grab me and pull my hair and punch and kick, he does all that with no regard for me as an actress physically. And I do what I promised. In the middle of trying to detangle myself from him, I stab him with my heel. I could see in his eye, first the shock, like, what? How dare you? Then he grew more into character and he wanted to really go for me. And when he came, I was actually scared. I stabbed him again with my heel right on his calf. And I could tell he was in pain. And thankfully, my scene ends. I run away, which I did. Backstage, the other actors were like, they wanted to clap. They didn't clap because it was a theater. Everybody was going to hear it. But they were proud of me. They were like, good job, good job. Even the director told me later, so I'm glad you stabbed him. I should have done it the first time. So, well, maybe I should have, but, this is just wrong. This is not how these things should happen. I wanted to tell you this story. And by the way, this actor, he went on to do a few more plays. I think he's still an actor somewhere. But like I said, he was replaced, and I heard other stories of people saying, oh my God, he considers himself such a method actor. The method is not about you being crazy or harassing or abusing other actors. The reason why I wanted to talk about it today is that a lot of people have this misconception thanks to Hollywood actors. And I will name a Hollywood actor today because you know the stories. You know whom. You're an actor, you heard the stories. This actor who says, I have to stay in character when I am backstage, when the cameras are off, I have to be in character the whole time, or else I don't deliver my best performance. That's fine. You don't have to do it this way, but it's full commitment. I admire people that stay in character for days at a time, 24 hours, move into a hotel and just never get out of character. That's cool. It's not cool is when you start interfering with the way other actors around you work. So, for example, if an actor on set tells you, no, just call me by my character's name, maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe it's easy for me. But if that's going to distract me from, doing my work, you can't be too picky. So if you say, okay, my character's name is Patrick, so just call me by Patrick, but I know you by John. If it's going to confuse me and it's going to be extra work for me, don't expect it. You can't be expecting other people to play your game all the time. But that's fine. That doesn't hurt. What hurts is when there's harassment and abuse in real life, and especially when an actor's ego takes over their acting gig. We have to remember this is work. We are storytellers. We're there to make sure the story gets told in a beautiful and realistic way. There are other actors around you. They're part of your team. They're part of your storytelling team. And we all have to carry on the mission together. We can't just be selfish like that. And at rehearsal, we prepare everything technically. There was another experience that just came to mind. I was working this gig, and it was just a weekend gig, one of those dinner gigs. The actors come and pretend, we mingle with actual people that bought tickets. Then we pretend there's a murder mystery, and the people at the dinner, they join and they don't know who the actors are. I had one of these gigs for a few months. It wasn't a bad gig, it was fun. But I remember that the person who directed the gig, at one point she slapped me. She was training us for a scene where there's a slap. And real actors never have to slap. They can fake slap, stage slap, and you won't know because we're actors. But I don't know what she was thinking. And she didn't even warn me. She was showing all the actors, this is the slap scene. Come here. I come. And she slaps me. And I was a little confused. And she said, it's easy. Let me do it again. And she slapped me again. She didn't warn me she was actually going to slap me. I know it's the slap scene, and because we were rehearsing in front of everybody, I obviously thought that she was going to tell them how to do it right, how to do it without actually slapping the other actor. But no, she was just telling them it's easy to actually slap the other actor, and the other actor will not have a reaction because they're actors too. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. She clearly had no training. Never okay to hurt the other actor physically, to abuse the other actor physically or emotionally. Psychological distress, sexual harassment, none of that is cool. Actors that get heavily associated with method acting, there's a reason why that happens. Back in the day of James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, all of those actors that started being known because they were coached by Lee Strasberg, who is one of the students of Stanislavsky. He was a personal student of Konstantin Stanislavsky. So he developed that method with these actors and created his own method in his own studio. So Marilyn Monroe and all of these actors in the 50s and the 60s, they had personal lives that were hard and tragic too. What Lee Strasberg did was he had his actors access the deep emotion and the vulnerability and really bring them to the skin. So for Marilyn Monroe, who grew up without her mother went on, I think, to a psychiatric institution when she was little. She went on foster care. She forgot about that. For her to go back and relive those experiences and going to therapy and trying to think of what she felt when she was a kid, all of that helped her access emotion. The audiences started perceiving these actors as extremely emotional, extremely vulnerable, and because they were also extremely talented, they got Oscars and everything. There was this misconception that unless you are very troubled, unless you're very depressed, or you have a lot of bad experiences, you can't be the best actor. That's not exactly what it is. The truth is, self-awareness and being able to accept your experiences and learn from every emotion that you possibly felt any good or bad experience, any good or bad memory, being able to access all of that just gives you an extra set of tools as an actor. And you can be brilliant. If you're able to expose your emotion and your vulnerability, it will give you an extra way of accessing that emotion. But you don't really have to be sad or have all of these bad experiences. Forget about those stories that you read sometimes about actors misbehaving on set, basically showing off with their ego. You're an actor, you have to leave your ego at the door. In order for you to actually be vulnerable, it can't be about your ego. It can't be. And it's hard because, between being vulnerable and also being confident enough to be an actor, these are fine lines you have to walk. Don't be the actor with the big ego. Don't be that guy. Don't be that person that says, I'm just going to do something to the other actor that they're not expecting, just so they can have a natural reaction. And that is horrible. And there are actors, I'm thinking of the name right now. In this case, they're both men for some reason. What was done towards women. It was something about, I'm going to be extremely mean to this actress on a personal level, because then the camera's going to capture her reaction. It's going to be really, really nice because it's going to just be so realistic. This is horrible, horrible. It's so bad that there was a time that these actors could thrive and, be celebrated. And yeah, the women too, they gave great performances, but they didn't have to go through that. Thank God we are speaking out now and not just being put in the fridge for speaking out. Just put away. Let's not hire her anymore. She complains too much. She's hard to work with. No, we're speaking out. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to just catch the other actor off guard. No, it's not your job. You have to rehearse. You have to talk. And you have to be prepared. Let the other actor bring what they have. If you trust your own acting, you have to trust the other actor too. We all have had the opportunity of hearing someone doubting us and saying, I don't know if you can actually bring the emotion that this character needs. I don't know if you can actually act this part. We've all heard that. We know if there's doubt that we can do something, we actually prepare even more. We study that character, we build that character like Stanislavsky teaches us, and we bring it. If you know actors that behave like that, don't put up with them. Don't normalize. Let's normalize not accepting this type of behavior. It was normalized for way too long, especially now when it's just so easy to learn the method. And if you find that it's for you, it's just so easy to start putting that into your acting. So let's not let it have a bad reputation because of people that don't know what they're actually doing. It's really not a big mystery. And that's what I wanted to say today. There was a reason you decided to be an actor. Hold on to that. That's you. That's who you are. That's your mission in life. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Keep acting. Stay safe, and I'll see you next Saturday.